As the chair of the team, what has been your particular role in those conversations and in the decisions?
My particular role has been to facilitate and to offer a process that would help people to trust one another, to come to trust one another, to come to the work in a way that is relational, so that relationships could form within that group, to allow the Spirit to have reign, to make the process, even from the legislative writing team process to our actual process with the larger connectional table, to make that process worshipful. Filled with worship, not worship bookend on the front and the rear of a process, but a worship experience that is embedded, that flows through the entire process. So I think I saw myself, I came there with opinions, of course, and with feelings, but as a leader of that process, I saw myself as one to facilitate, to be able to get the best from the rest of the people in the group.
What would you like for delegates to General Conference to know about the work on matters related to human sexuality that has happened sort of behind the scenes since General Conference 2012, or not as much as in the public eye of the work?
What has happened, it's interesting that you asked that question, because I would say that what has happened on the connectional table has happened even outside of the matter around human sexuality. Because what has happened on the connectional table and the quadrennium that I've been there, I'm sure it's happened before, has been relationship building. So we've had meals together, we've prayed together, we've talked together about a variety of issues, including human sexuality. And I think that what we bring, or what we have brought to this process, has been our relationships, our ability to listen to each other, to hear one another. And there have been public pieces of this. You know, people know about the public dialogues that we had prior to even the work of the writing team beginning. But there have been conversations that we've had with one another. We've tried to be as transparent as possible about all of our conversations. So every time that we would have some sort of the process where we'd be having these conversations, we were always coming back to the connectional table saying, this was our process. These were the people who were at the table. These were the voices that we heard, and this is where we ended up. This is the thinking that undergirded our work. These are the values that guided us. You know, so it was a constant having a small group process and then coming back to a larger group with reporting and even sharing somewhat of that process.
So there were three primary areas in which the bishops had done their work as both a task force and as a council.
Mainly the task force. The task force was established in 2013 in a time where we really had to seek a way forward, and we were asked not to look at one topic only, but to look at human sexuality, gender, and race, and to do that in a worldwide perspective. It was quite challenging to bring these three demanding questions together, and we were asking what's the uniting thing, and we ended up that all of those challenges create the challenge for us as bishops and as church to live with core values, and we defined 7 core values as a task force, and we offered it to the church. God's grace is for all. We, the bishops, are called to live our consecration vows and to work for the unity of the church. We are a missional church. We are messengers of hope in a world of brokenness. We have to embrace the global connection we live in. Those are examples for those core values. I didn't mention all the 7 of it, but those are the core examples. And following those values, we will learn to live as a church that really is open to serve all God's people all over the world.
Amen.
As the chair of the Council of Bishops Task Force on Human Sexuality, what has been your particular role in those conversations and those decisions?
I saw myself as a messenger of hope myself to really encourage the colleagues in the task force, but also the colleagues in the council and through the bishops, the whole denomination, to keep faith, to keep hope, to continue to engage. We live in challenging times. We live with many tensions. However, we are called to serve as ambassadors of God's love in this world. So I was a facilitator, and I was grateful for the support of all the colleagues in the task force and the colleagues in the Council of Bishops, as I am today, because we didn't finish our task, obviously.
So this will continue, this
not
work?
in the new quadrennium, or this is not decided so far. We have to see in the new quadrennium, a new council will come together with new colleagues in it. But we see ourselves called to offer spiritual leadership towards General Conference in these questions that are challenging for General Conference as well. And we want to create openness to continue the journey in the spirit of trust and hope, and the spirit of the prayerful discernment also as we continue the journey after General Conference, because no matter what General Conference decides, we will have people who are disappointed, we will have people who are struggling, we will have to continue to learn how to live with our differences.